Let's start with a chazar. I didn't do a chazar yet. I apologize. So let's start at the bottom of Lamed Aleph, Lamed Aleph. Let's start with, let's go all the way up. A quick running chazara. Yeah? Quick chazara, Kenner. Tana Yavish. Yesterday's Gemara. We'll get a 3 minutes. Oh, Ramnayach is here. We'll do a quick chazara, 3-minute chazara like we do usually. I just didn't do it yet. Then we'll get into new Gemara. Tana Yavish. Yeah, we're going to start back from yesterday's Gemara, about 20 lines on the bottom. The first one line is dummy. Tana, we learned to the right, say Yavish, Pasal, Rav Yudamash. My Rabbi explains to Rabbi what's the machlek, it's belulav. The Rabbanans have you makshin lulav l'asroig. The Rabbanan hold we make a hekish between lulav and esrig. My esrig by Yahader, Av lulav by Yahader. We're doing chazar from yesterday. Rav Yudis have lo makshin lulav esrig, Av esrig, the Rekol Hader be'inon, period. So statement number one is a brayso. Machlok is Tanakam and Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says Tanakam says possible. Yehuda says kosher. What's the machlok as whether lulav is equated to esrog? But everyone agrees esrog needs had. Asks the Gemara, really? Ublulav by Rav Yehuda hadar? Does Rav Yehuda not require hadar by a lulav? Atanam learned in a Mishnah. Rav Yehuda Meriak Denamil Mali combined from the top. So attempt number one, my time, why do you have to bind the top line to the bayadar? No. Answer to Gemara, that's the reason most kids don't time. Rav Yehuda Mishim Rav Tarfin Kapois Tamarim. Kapois, the word kapois, he darshes v'may aparti chatfenu, that if it's spread apart, bind it to the top. Question number one, answer number one. Question number two, v'lay bayadar, excuse me?
The impire means?
If it is separated, pirud as a separation, Yechaftanu, bind it up. Question number two. V'lay by hadar. Does you do not require hadar? V'atanan. Ein oidin as a lulav. I mean, no, you can only bind the lulav with its own min. My time is the reason now. Allow me to by hadar that needs to be beautiful. Answer again. Loy damar rabba vilu b'seva vilu bikr the dikla. Review the lamais allows you to bind it together even with the root of the bark of the lulav tree, the root of the lulav tree. So clearly not beautiful. Velamai time other Rav Yudis. Why lamaises have to be minai? Hasam the kasav the lulav sarach again. So Rav Yudis lamais also lulav needs to be bound together, and we have a technical problem. The maisa mina achrina havlu chamisha minim, and only asked before 2 kashas, 2 terutzim. Period. Now we flip. We said that everyone agrees that Asra, yes, has to be Hadar. Ubasik Niba, you reviewed the Hadar, Vatan review Arba Minishab Lugshini, Baslanka, Klunos, even Aleim. Loy Mata Asra, Loy Avi Loy Parsha, Riman, Lodavar Acher, quince, pomegranate, something else, Kimushin withered, Kshirin, Yavation dried up, Sulim. Rav Yehuda, Rav Yavashim is kosher. Ve'amar Rav Yehuda, Maisa, the Hiliga Ben Ebrak. No, Maisa Ben Korachin. They would inherit, bequeath is the right word. Ma'irishid, to give over as an inheritance, is bequeath. That's your SAT word for the day. What do you mean? The fact that you used to give their lulav to their children is a right? You don't need a hadar on the lulav. Period. End of price. Asks the Gemara, what do you see about Rav Yehuda's opinion towards an Asraig? Katani miya iswat Rav Yehuda Emer af yeveshin kesherim. My lava esrog, as you think by reading the brisa that it's clearly talking about an esrog, answers the money. Answers the money. Oh, answers the Gemara. Answers the Gemara. My lava esrog. Loi alulav. Difficult in the reading, as was pointed out last night, but that's where it goes. Omar Mar. Period. Let's go. Omar Mar Naya Gemara 5 lines down. Omar Mar. What do we say in the bottom in the brayso? Just like you cannot detract, it's the daled minim. You can't just take 3, so you can add on. Says Gemara Pshita. What exactly were you teaching us by that din? Was there a reason to think you could or cannot? Answers the Gemara. Ma'u detema. You know what I would have thought? Hayel va'amar Rav Yehuda. You know Rav Yehuda says lulav sarich eged. The second time we're seeing this. Rav Yehuda holds you got to bind the lulav together. So what if you don't? What if you're sitting there and you have your lulav adas baravais bound? You punked aside. I also have a pencil. I'm holding it together, but it's not bound. So Rabbi Yehuda said, "Zulav sarach eged v'maisi mina achrina." And if you bring another min, I would have thought, I would have thought each one's considered by himself, and therefore it's not a problem. Kamash Malan, that even though it's not bound together, it's still considered a min, and therefore it is a problem, according to Rabbi Yehuda.
What about all those Geschmack Hashana cards with the clips?
It's a hack. It's a hack, and this is why it's a hack. This is why it's a hack. This is why I say now you shtickle. They have it's like a fake. You can clip it onto your guy. I can have you more. What about this? I'm holding a Shana card. Why don't we say the Shana card is its own min? So l'chayra,
a Maxer, whatever.
a Maxer, a sitter. So l'chayra, the answer is what? So the answer is if you know something called kavanah l'hepach in yeshivish. You know, sometimes you have kavanah to do something that it's clearly you're not doing it. So on my example of a pencil, maybe one would have thought that you're holding it together. If I'm holding something and I'm holding my sitter, you ever see the way the Rebbe's don't hold the sitter. The Rebbe says, maybe this is one of the reasons. I always thought just because there's an Indian told with two hands. So, yeah. No. To hold the lulav and etching. Indian told lulav and two hands. That's the doing. But we'll get closer to Sukkot. I think it's a hack. We'll get closer to Sukkot. We'll discuss these things. Yes.
That's the case.
Yes.
If I wouldn't.
Correct. That is the chiddush. Very good. You just spoke at the chiddush perfectly. That even though if it's not, oh God, it's considered to be together, still he considers you need egg. Now, why we haven't learned yet? L'chayra might have to be a din. Oh, excuse me. We actually did learn. It's Xer Sukkah. That's what we learned to the bottom of it out. Said the Gemara, it's not al hadar, it's al kappa. He says we bound together, and maybe now we have a little bit of a deeper appreciation into why it's a simple Xer Sukkah. Because really, it doesn't make any sense. Because really, according to Rabbi Yehuda, if as long as you're holding them together, they have a din of part of your daled minim. Aber state in the Torah says the pasuk kappa says we bound together. L'chayr, that's a beautiful shekel Torah. I don't know if it's MS, but it sounds beautiful. Gracie Shekayach. And we continue. Amar Mar, quoting the Brayse Nachama. Loy matzah esrik. Again, Amar Mar just means master said. Anytime you've seen Amar Mar, it's the same thing as Gufa. What does Gufa mean? We're restating a piece of the Brayse that we just saw. Amar Mar is the exact same thing. What is the difference between a Gufa and an Amar Mar? I do not know. This is for like those didactic Gemara guys. I know the nuances between these things, but there is somewhat of a chilik. Amar Mar. Loy matzah esrik. Lo yavi, you don't find an esrik, you should not bring lo riman, a pomegranate, lo parish, a quince, lo davarach. Says Gemara Pshita. By the way, if you don't have tefillin, don't take a tissue box and put it on your head as tefillin. You don't have an esrik, don't take a quince. What was the havamina? Mao de tema, I would have thought lacy. You should take it. Why? Because it looks like an esrik. So, so that's lo tishkach teiras esrog. You're gonna forget. Can you imagine? There's a let's imagine we're sitting somewhere in Klal Yisrael in Europe or somewhere that you can't get an esrog. So what's gonna happen? So you don't think an esrog. What's the next year gonna happen? What's the next year gonna happen? Eventually, you're gonna think there's no din esrog. So maybe take another item so that you could say, oh, by the way, you're not being yikes with it. You're taking it as a zecher, as a remembrance, right? We have in Seder, we have the egg on the Seder plate. Why? It's a zecher to remembrance for the chagiga. So we have certain things like that. What was Sheikh said, egg in a chagiga? Well, would Sheikh, okay, Mefarshim explain it. But the point is just remembrance. So maybe you would think take something as remembrance. Mashmalan, we don't. Why not? Sounds such a good idea. Why not? Says the Gemara, you know why not? Because Zimnin, there are times enough like Chorba Mineh that destruction will come out of it. Why? The Asi lemisrach. They might come to be drawn, misrach, to be drawn after it. Meaning what? That they'll think that's the mitzvah. Hechkayach, you get 20 years down the line. The mitzvah, I just heard a very funny story. It's humorous, but it's, at the the Rabbanim speaking, one of them said the following story: there's a Reform shul that instead of having shofar, they blow trumpet. You know, Reform. It sounds more gishmak. A few years ago, they realized why are we blowing trumpets? The Maisa, the shofar thing, like natural. You know, everyone's into naturalists. So the young chaver came in. This year, we're blowing shofar. And all the elderly chevra said, "What are you doing, Messiah? We've been blowing trumpets for 30 years." It's a joke. But Lamaisa, this is the way it happens, is that you do something, and before you know it, right? We're going to have the Kaela chevra that think, if you don't yell out Kaela, you punch a word in Yaitse. What's Pshat?
Hashem brings his children back even if they don't realize.
Oh, very good, very good, very good. But Lamaisa, there's a lot of things that way. So that's Mamash the Gemara saying, that if you do the wrong thing, you always have to be worried that one's going to say, "Oh, this is the real deal." Okay, and we continue. Tashema, Nachabrais. Esrog Hayashon Posel. Rav Yudah Machshir. Tiyufta, the Rava, Tiyufta. Why is it a Kashan Rava? So let's go back and let's see, what did Rava say? Oh, my Rava. Oh, that was a Machlekes Rav Yehuda and the Tanakama.
Occupation share.
Oh, no, but it's not Rav Yehuda. It's not Rava.
Sorry.
It's Rav Yehuda. That's Rav Yehuda. So why is it a kasha and Rava? Why is it a kasha and Rava? So where is Rava? Right, I had the same mistake. Oh, very good. That what? Let's read the words together. What did he say? That in the original brisa, no, where is it? Please read it to me.
The first one we started.
Oh, Machleiv the Lulav. Why? Because of the Akish. The Rava said, "Well, it's beautiful." Let's read it again. I didn't even realize the Siyat Shmai that we started there. Beautiful. Shkayach. Machleiv is Belulav. The Rabbanan is having Makshin Lulav Esrig. Masik Ba'adar Lulav Ba'yahadar. And Ruta says no. So Rava said the Rabbanan saying Esrig needs to be Yav. It needs to be Hadar. Asks the Gemara. Tashema. Esrog Hayashin Posel, Rav Yudah Machshir. Tiyufta de Rava Tiyufta. What's the kasha? Hafach.
Oh, yeah, what?
There are abundance of Makshin Lulav. I think about other. Because of Lo Makshin Lulav, Avil Esroig, Avil Be'esroig, Avil. That's where it's from. You're right, Avi. Just keep reading. Avil Be'esroig, Divi Yaakov Binan. What does this brisa say? Esroig. That's the kasha, right? And let's read it again. Let's read it again. I keep losing the place over here. This Gemara is driving me nuts. The brisa is talking about Esroig Hayashan. The brisa we started today was talking about Lulav Hayashan. Rava said, Avi, you're right. By lulav is a machlekes tanakama mechachamim if we equate lulav to esrog. But everyone agrees esrog needs hadar. Frak to Gemara, it's so simple. We were going too deep. It's very simple. Frak to Gemara, what are you talking about? Everyone agrees esrog needs to be hadar. It's a machlekes tanarabon tashema. Esrog hayashin pasal. Rav Yehuda machshir. Frak to Gemara, tufta de Rava. Rav's whole kinak was what? The machlekes is only by lulav. But everyone agrees esrog needs hadar. We see from this brayso, so the machlekes is dafka specifically by esrog tiyofta de Rava tiyofta. Period. Now, says the Gemara, really? V'loi ba'i hadar? Does it not need hadar? Let's stop there. Let's stop here. It's going to go back in esrog. Let's stop over here. Because we did a lot, and I don't really want to. Let's stop over here. Even though we could pretend and say, "What do you mean? We have 5 days off and we're going to chazard." Let's stop over here. Let's try to at least chazard the last 6 lines that we did. Lamaisa, next week we're going to get into Lamapizam and Aleph, which is going to leave us for the sickest break. A real 2.5 lot to do. It's not. We keep on saying this. Lamaisa, there's a lot here. I'm holding Shak V'Tarya only back on Daf Lamed, so we still have an Nacha Blat to Chab Shak V'Tarya. Let's just read the last few lines.